Shut your mouth. We're gonna save her, okay? We're gonna save her from her terrible uncle. You all notice that, I keep hearing about Love Island USA. What the fuck is that? I overheard people in my class back when I was in school a bit ago talking about it. It seems like everyone's watching it and is obsessed with it. What the fuck is it? I think it's some reality TV show. I think my mom watches it, but I think reality TV was made by the devil, so I don't watch. Yeah, no, that's my thing. Is I don't watch reality TV because I think that shit's evil. I think that corrupts your soul. Okay. Let us continue the game. We left off in the middle of dialogue, so... Oh, it's so loud. Okay. Where were we? Who knows? Not I, not Mion, and of course not Rena. Oh, right, they left. They stared at the classroom exit Sadako and Rikachi had left through, their expressions a little distant and grim.
俺たちは仲間だ。
We're all friends.
そうだろう、みんな。
Isn't that right? It's not good when you see in the chat the person who's played through the game says, "Oh God." I don't know if I'm ready for this. It's not good when that's said. It seems like it's just us tonight though, Jaden. Because I think uh Pokin is not caught up and so hasn't been watching these latest streams. So how fun will that be? I blurted out something strange, so Mian and Rena turned around with dubious expressions.
俺は仲間に隠し事はしない。
I won't keep anything from my friends.
だから、さっき聞いたばかりのことを言う。
So I'll tell you what I just heard a little while ago. I told them the stories I heard from Tomoto-kun and Okamura-kun earlier about the tofu shop and how Sadako's uncle had apparently come back. All at once without letting them speak.
これが俺の知るすべてだ。
And that's all I know.
だからミオンもレナもしていることがあるなら話してくれ。
So if either of you knows anything, please say so.
俺は俺の知るすべてを話したぞ。
I've said everything I can. I ended my sentence firmly and looked into Mion and Rena's eyes in turn. Rena stared right back at me. Her eyes didn't falter. Without even opening her mouth, I could tell she wasn't hiding anything. Then our gazes turned to Mion.
別に私は隠して黙ってるわけじゃないよ。
It's not like I was trying to keep it a secret or anything. Mion couldn't seem to endure our silent stares and began to talk timidly as if she was guilty of something.
でもケイちゃんが話したなら私も話さないわけにはいかないよね。
It's just, now that you've said something, Kei-chan, I guess I have to talk about it.
みーちゃん、何か知ってるの？
Mi-chan, you know something?
いや、さとこのおじが帰ってきたっての帰ってきた初日から知ってたよ。
Well, I mean, I knew from the first day that Sadako's uncle had come home.
この間の日曜日にふらっとひなみ沢に帰ってきたって。
That he just randomly showed up in Hinamizawa last Sunday.
どうしてそれを黙ってた？
Why didn't you tell us that?
ごめん。
I'm sorry. My angry shout caused Mion to flinch away, look down, and hang her head uncomfortably.
ケイチ君、怒るようなことじゃないよ。
Kishu-kun, it's nothing to get angry about.
みーちゃん怖がってる。
You're scaring Mi-chan.
あ、ごめん。つい大声を。
Huh? Oh. Sorry I shouted at you. I lowered my head in apology. Mion accepted it, collected herself, and continued. According to her, her uncle's relationship with his lover, whom he had been with in Okinomiya, had collapsed. Without anywhere to go, he went back home to Hinamizawa. And on that Sunday, the day of the barbecue, her uncle ran into Satoko and brought her back to the house.
自宅に
Why?
なんで連れ戻すんだよ。
Did he bring her with him?
ろくでなしの寄生虫だからね。
Because he's a good-for-nothing parasite.
自分一人じゃ炊事はおろか掃除一つできないし。
He can't even cook by himself, much less do any cleaning.
そんな炊事やお掃除のためにさとこちゃんを連れ戻したっていうの？
But that's... He brought Sadako-chan back to have her cook and clean? Oh, don't show it again. It makes me sad. I remember that she said she'd been cleaning the house when I met her back at the school gate. A moment later, the pieces fell into place, into the jigsaw puzzle of unease. And as for what the puzzle depicted, when I saw it from afar, I could see the answer clearly.
サトコが家に閉じ込められて、
Sadako was locked up at home
いじめられながら家事をやらされてる
and tormented into doing the housework.
っていう噂なんだよ。
Those are the rumors. If you knew that, why didn't you speak up? I nearly yelled that at Mion, but hastily stopped myself.
みーちゃん、それ本当なの？
Mii-chan, is that true?
私がこの目で確かめたわけじゃないから、本当かどうかは知らないけど。
I haven't seen it myself, so I don't know if it's true or not. Mion looked down again, and staring at the floor grew quiet.
去年みたいに
Just like last year.
意地悪なおじさん夫婦のところで暮らしてた時みたいに？
Like when they lived with their mean uncle and his wife.
でもさ、そのおじさんって家事はからっきしなんだろ？
But this uncle is completely helpless when it comes to housework, right?
サトコが重宝なわけだから、何もいじめてるってわけじゃないかもしれないだろ？
Satoko's that important, then there wouldn't be any reason to torment her, would there?
ケイチ君、何を根拠に言ってるのか知らないけど、
Keiichi-kun, I don't know what grounds you have for saying that.
いい加減なことは言わない方がいいよ。
You shouldn't be so irresponsible. Rena clearly indirectly got mad at me. You don't know much about this, so don't talk as though you do. Yes, that's clearly what she meant.
じゃあレナは知ってるのかよ？
Fine. Then do you know something, Rena?
私だって知らないよ。
I don't know anything either.
今ここで聞くまで、さとこちゃんがおじさんの家に連れ戻されたなんて知らなかったもの。
I didn't know her uncle had taken her to the house until hearing it just now.
でもね、
But
1年前とはまるで状況が違うの。
the situation is different from a year ago.
状況が違うってどういうことだよ？
The situation is different. What does that mean?
サトシ君がいない。
Satoshi-kun isn't here.
サトシはすごく妹思いのいい兄だったんだよ。
Satoshi really cared about his little sister.
いつもサトコをかばってた。
He always stuck up for her.
意地悪なおじおばのとばっちりが少しでもサトコにかぶらないように盾になってくれてた。
He was her shield, so that she would be affected just a little less by their mean aunt and uncles fighting.
家には意地悪なおじさんとさとこちゃんが2人きりなんだよ。
The mean uncle and Sadako-chan are the only ones living there now.
それがどれだけ行き詰まるものか、ケイチ君にだって想像がつくんじゃないかな。
Can't you imagine how stifling that must be, Keiichi-kun?
木南沢に帰ってきた理由だって身を寄せてた愛人が蒸発したからでしょ。
He only even came back because he broke up with the woman he was staying with.
そんな不愉快な理由で帰ってきた人がどうしてさとこちゃんに優しくできるっていうの？
Do you think a person who came back for such an unpleasant reason will be able to treat Sadako-chan kindly? She was right. It wasn't easy for me to imagine Sadako not being tormented.
ごめん。
Sorry.
あ、こっちこそごめん。
Oh, no, I'm sorry too.
問い詰めるような口調になっちゃったね。
I sounded like I was interrogating you, didn't I? An awkward atmosphere floated among us. The three of us remained silent and just stared at the floor. Finally, we heard the principal's bell ringing. The teacher came back with Sadako and Rika-chan at her side.
さあさあ、午後の授業を始めますよ。
All right. We're starting afternoon class.
委員長、号令、
Class president, please.
起立。
Everybody stand up.
ごめんなさいね。
I'm sorry.
失礼。
How rude of me. Oh, she's serious. I couldn't read anything from Sadako's vaguely sheepish expression, but given the clouded look Rika-chan was wearing behind her, it was tough to laugh off the disquieting story I'd heard from Mion.
よーし。
All right.
久々に全メンバーが揃ったからね。
First time in a while, everyone's been here.
久しぶりにパーッと大部活で盛り上がろうじゃないの。
Let's all have a roaring good time with the whole club. Yeah, perfect. Indeed, in times like these, the best thing to do was obviously get rowdy and scheme against one another in a club activity.
望むところだよ。
Just what I was waiting for.
ねえ、さとこちゃん。
Hey, Sadako-chan,
やろうやろう。
let's play.
さとこが好きだったゲームあるでしょ。ほら、なんだったっけ。
There was that game you liked, wasn't there? What was it again?
なんでも構わないよ。
It doesn't matter which. Rika started this chapter cheering you on how well you were doing, and ever since Sadako's uncle returned, she's been super quiet. Probably because she knows that he sucks. And, like, Rika and Sadako typically live together, so they're very close. So I imagine it's very, very tough for her.
行ってみ。
Tell me.
行ってみ。
Tell me. Mion laughed happily, took a bunch of games out of the club locker, and lined them up on the desks. I think that was the first time Mion's ever let someone else decide on a game for her. I could tell she was being especially considerate to Satoko. Thinking that whatever her circumstances, if we could just enjoy our time together as a group, there might be some comfort, some diversion. Satoko seemed to understand her feelings too, and smiled vaguely, though pleased. But her head slowly moved from side to side.
ありがたいですけど、お気持ちだけで結構ですわ。
I'm very grateful, but your feelings are enough.
いろいろしなければならないことがありますので。
There are many things I need to do, so... Even Rika-chan hung her head in remorse.
おいおいおいおいおい、本気なわけ？
Hey, whoa. Seriously?
部活メンバーが久しぶりに揃ったってのにお流れになっちゃうわけ？
All the club members are here for once and we're not playing anything?
敵前逃亡は罰ゲームってのは快速第何条だったっけ？
Desertion in the face of the enemy. What was the punishment game for it? What part of the club constitution was that in?
やめなよ、みーちゃん。
Stop it, Mi-chan.
無理に付き合わせちゃダメだよ。
We can't force her to play with us.
別におじさんは無理強いしてるわけじゃないよ。
Hey, this old man isn't trying to force her or anything.
ただ大盛り上がりした方が絶対に楽しいと思って。
I just thought it would be more fun for sure if we did something exciting.
本当にお気持ちだけで嬉しいんですのよ。
Really, I'm happy you feel that way.
ご安心なさいませ。次に戦うときは皆さんまとめてでっかい罠にはめてご覧に入れますわ。
Don't worry. Next we meet, you'll see. I'll get you all caught in a gigantic trap. Sadako, while insulting us, still said she couldn't participate in the club today and apologized. She quickly put her things into her bag and pattered out into the hallway, disappearing. It all happened in the blink of an eye.
さとこ。
Satoko. Rika-chan stared lonesomely as her friend hurried home, unable to be part of club activities. Silence filled the classroom. Both the cheerful voices of our classmates in the schoolyard and the voices of the cicadas sounded like they were coming from some faraway world.
つまんないの。
This is boring. The silence is broken by Mion's bitterness as she began putting the games on the desk back into the locker. Everyone just stared absently at Sadako's seat, now empty.
リカちゃん、
Rika-chan,
そろそろ話してくれてもいいんじゃないかな。
maybe you could tell us about it now?
うん。
Rena made as gentle a smile as she possibly could and spoke softly to Rika-chan. Even without hearing it from her, we pretty much knew the situation at this point. Sadako's uncle had broken up with his lover and come back home to Hinamizawa. And he had taken Sadako back home and forced her to do all the household work. That all had to be pretty rough on her. Thinking this was common knowledge to everyone, I skipped to the important part.
だいぶひどいのか？
Is it really bad? Maybe Mion and Rena wanted to ask the same question. Nobody spoke. We all just stared, waiting for Rika-chan's reply. Rika-chan still didn't answer us. We were hoping for her to say no, but her silence was a bad enough sign.
去年だっけ？
Last year, was it?
おじ夫婦の元にいた時もこんな状況だったんだろ
It was like this when both her uncle and his wife were here, right?
うん。
Yeah.
あの時は夫婦喧嘩のとばっちりみたいなのがほとんどだったからさ。
At the time, they were mostly just being caught between their aunt and uncle fighting.
こうして部活で時間を潰して家にいる時間を極力減らすのも一つの手だったんだけど。
One of the ways we helped out was with the club by reducing her time at home as much as we could, but
今は家事を強制されてるから学校に残ることもできないんだね。
it's making her do the chores now, so she can't stay at school either. Shit. Sadako's not a slave. Who do you think you are, ignoring your own inability to live properly and basically putting Sadako under house arrest?
常識的に考えてこんなのおかしいんじゃねえのか？
When you think about it, isn't this really strange?
いろいろと状況証拠は必要だろうけどこういうのって虐待だろ？
We'd need a lot of circumstantial evidence, but isn't this abuse?
警察とかに通報できないのかよ？
Can't we notify the police or something?
そうだよね。
You're right.
体罰の証拠とかがあれば警察に通報できると思うよ。
If we had evidence she was being abused, I think we could tell the police.
あるいはそういうのって地域の民生委員さんとかに相談できないの？
Can't we talk to the region's welfare people about this? Ren and I kept saying police, police as though it were nothing, but Mion's response sounded like she thought we were a little naive.
みんな簡単に言ってくれるけどさ、
It's easy for you to say that.
それを立証するリスクを考えたことある？
Have you thought about the risks of actually getting proof?
リスクってなんだよ？
What do you mean, risks?
一昨年の冬かな。
I think it was 2 winters ago.
通報したんだよ。
We reported it
児童相談所に。
to the Child Consultation Center.
虐待があるからすぐに何とかしてくれって。
We told them there was abuse happening and to do something right away.
そうだったんだ。
Huh? You did?
それで？
What happened?
電話してすぐにお役所の人が来てくれたよ。
A person came as soon as we called.
で、サトコとかサトシとかに事情聴取してた。
She interviewed Satoko and Satoshi about what was going on,
ついでにおじ夫婦のところにもね。
and then their uncle and his wife, too.
サトコとサトシに聞くまではいいがおじ夫婦にまで聞くのはまずいんじゃないのか？
I can understand asking Satoko and Satoshi, but wouldn't it be not so good to talk to the aunt and uncle?
両者の意見を聞いて総合的に判断するんだとさ。
They said they'd base their judgment on what they heard from both sides.
ご立派ご立派。
Great of them, wasn't it?
で、結果はどうだったの？
So, what did they decide to do?
様子見。
Wait and see.
様子見ってなんだよそれ？
What do you mean, wait and see?
おじさん、とっても勉強になっちゃったんだけどさ。
The uncle really studied up on this stuff.
法律ではね、暴行か育児放棄が認められなきゃ虐待とは言わないんだってさ。
By law, you can't call it abuse unless assault or child neglect has been established.
サトコもサトシもよく小づかれてたらしいけど、別に傷跡が残るようなレベルじゃなかったし。
They poked and prodded Sadako and Satoshi a lot, but it never left any real marks on them.
3食の飯も一応食えてたし、寝床もあったし。
They were pretty much eating 3 meals a day and had beds.
心理的外傷を与える言動だって、別にカセットテープで証拠があったわけじゃないし。
And there weren't any recordings or something like that to prove they'd said or done anything to cause them psychological trauma.
村の人たちだって、実際に乱暴してる現場は見たことないからね。
None of the villagers had ever actually seen them being violent either.
いくら意地悪だからって、人前で乱暴はしないでしょ。
No matter how mean you are, you wouldn't act so violent in front of other people.
誰だって。
Nobody would.
で、その後どうなったの？
Then what happened?
しばらくは毎週決まった日に民生委員さんが訪問してたみたい。
The welfare officer apparently went to visit on the same day each week for a while.
おじ夫婦も自分たちが見張られてることを気にして目立ついじめはしなくなったらしいけど。
The aunt and uncle knew they were being watched though and didn't torment them in any way that would stand out.
それで済むわけないでしょ。
Of course, that wasn't the end of it.
より陰湿ないじめ方に加速していったってことだね。
You mean they ramped up how malicious they were being? Mion sighed and nodded.
おばのやつが特にねちっこくってさ。
Their aunt was really damn stubborn.
女特有の陰湿さっていうのかな。
She's one of the most spiteful people I've ever known.
相当いやらしいことをしてたらしいよ。
Apparently she was doing some pretty disgusting things.
さとこ、最後の方は呼吸するだけのボロ人形みたいだった。
Satoko was like a doll that did nothing but breathe by the end of it. So what? From that conclusion, does that mean we should never have contacted child welfare in the first place?
わかった？
Understand?
誰の目にも明らかな虐待の証拠がなかったらお手上げなんだよ。
Without proof of abuse so clear anyone could see it, there's nothing we can do.
むしろ状況を悪化させかねない。
In fact, it might even make the situation worse.
あれは失敗だった。
We messed up pretty bad. After hearing that even public organizations, the one thing they thought was dependable, couldn't do anything, everyone hung their heads.
つまり、誰の目にも明らかな虐待の証拠が見つかるまで通報すべきでないってことなんだね。
In other words, until we have clear evidence of abuse, we shouldn't notify anyone?
うん。まあ、
Well, I mean,
そういうこと。
basically, yeah. I considered Sadako's current situation. She was brought back to her house. It was a little difficult to call that abuse. She was being tormented and forced to do the chores. How she was being tormented would be the key. Without concrete evidence, it would be difficult to prove. If she had some kind of external injury, that would work. But as far as we could tell from today, she had nothing like that. And being forced to do the chores, that was a bit weak too. There had to be better evidence that she was without a doubt being abused. Oh, I know. Her uncle had ignored Sadako's existence for a whole year and went to live with his lover in town. Didn't that fall under one of the definitions of abuse that Mion had mentioned? Child neglect?
うん。
Yeah,
それは立派な育児放棄だね。
it's the perfect case of child neglect.
どうなの、みーちゃん。
What about that, Mi-chan? Hmm.
おじが今もいなければ育児放棄は認定されそうだけど、
If her uncle weren't here now, it could be recognized as child neglect.
今この瞬間は同居してるわけでしょ？
But he's living with her at the moment, isn't he?
今までは別居だったけど、心を入れ替えて同居することにしたなんて言われたら、また様子見なんてことになりかねないよ。
They were apart before, but if he said something like he had a change of heart and decided to live with her, then they might just wait and see again. Once we reported it, we would need to be absolutely sure they'd interpret it as abuse. Maybe we needed far more concrete evidence, lest we repeat last year's mistake.
なんだか悲しい。
It's, well, sad.
ということはつまり、 聡子ちゃんが乱暴されて大きな傷が残るまで黙って見てろって
This
ことなん
means
だよね。
we need to sit quietly and wait for him to be violent toward Sadako-chan and leave a mark, don't we? Hmm. The only plan I could think of was, in the end, just watching and waiting. It left me in shock when I realized it would be the same policy as that of the officials who had made the situation worse. As Mion said, reporting it to a public agency would be a gamble. If we're going to pick a fight, it would have to be one we couldn't afford to lose. If we were gambling, without enough money, without enough evidence, or defeat would be assured. If we took the time to amass enough money that we could be sure of victory, and that would mean pretending we didn't see Sadako's plight for a considerable amount of time.
こんなところで話を振ってごめんな。
Sorry for bringing this up now, but
リカちゃんはどうして一人暮らしができるんだ？
how was Rika-chan able to live by herself? Rika-chan had lost her parents, if I recalled correctly. From what I'd heard, she had no relatives either. She was forced to live on her own as a result, but her life was unfettered, free of restriction. She could somehow grant that freedom to Sadako,
ほ
too.
ら、リカちゃんって両親いないのに生活してるだろ。
I mean, Rika-chan, you're living without any parents, right?
保護者のいない子供って孤児院みたいなところに入れられちゃうんじゃないっけ？
Don't kids with no guardians have to go to orphanages and stuff?
圭一くん、それひどい。
Keiichi-kun, that's cruel.
悪口で言ってるんじゃねえよ。
I'm not saying it to be mean.
そこにサトコを救うヒントがあるかもしれないと思って聞いてみただけなんだ。
Only asked because I thought maybe there would be a hint to saving Sadako.
リカちゃん、気分を害したならごめんな。
Rika-chan, sorry if I offended you. Rika-chan shook her head, not particularly disturbed.
それはですね、
Well,
僕は
you see,
実は村長さんちの子供になっているからなのです。
it's because I'm considered the mayor's daughter.
補足がいるね。
Let me explain.
村長の君吉のおじいちゃんがリカちゃんの保護者なんだよ。
The mayor, old man Kimiyoshi, is Rika-chan's guardian.
ちゃんと県知事の許可を得た正式な。
He got official permission from the governor of the prefecture.
え
Ah,
養子みたいなものか？
so you're adopted?
養子とは違う。
No, not adopted.
別に籍を入れなくても保護者にはなれるんだよ。
You can be someone's guardian without being in the same family.
分かってきた。
Oh, I get it.
つまりリカちゃんは普通に暮らしてるけど、法律の上では村長さんの家に住んでることになってるんだね。
Rika-chan lives by herself, but by law she's considered to live with the mayor, right? It's fucked up they let this kid live by herself. I mean, I know she lives with Sadako most of the time, but like, still, now it's just, we got these two kids living by themselves. That's fucked up. Mayor, you gotta have this kid not live in some shed out in the woods. Yeah, basically.
そのおかげでリカちゃんは孤児院送りを免れてるってわけ。
That's how Rika-chan avoids being sent to an orphanage.
孤児院っていうか児童養護院のことだけど。
Actually, it would be Child and Family Services, not an orphanage.
み
Meep.
難しいことはよくわかりませんが、つまりはそういうことなのです。
I don't understand the hard things, but anyway, she's right.
ミオン、今興味深いことを言ったな。
Interesting you should say that, Mion.
席が違っても保護者になれるみたいなことを言ったよな。
You can be someone's guardian even if they're in another family?
じゃあ形だけでも村長さんとかがサトコの保護者になってくれればいいんじゃないのか？
Then shouldn't we have the mayor or someone else become Sadako's guardian, if only on paper? Then she'd be in the same position as Rika-chan. She could go back to her old life.
ところがそうはいかないの。
Too bad it won't work.
だっておじだって保護者のつもりなんだもん。
I mean, her uncle is supposedly her guardian.
ちょっと待て。
Wait a minute.
わけがわからなくなった。
You lost me there.
そもそも保護者ってなんだ？
What's a guardian exactly anyway? In legal terms, a guardian and a parent weren't necessarily synonyms. So, whoever was actually looking after her at home would be considered her guardian.
なら おじは保護者じゃないな。
And her uncle isn't her guardian.
ずっとサトコをほったらかしにしてた。
He left Satoko by herself for so long.
でも保護者だと主張されたらそれまでだよ。
But if he insists he's her guardian, then that's it.
サトコが連れ戻されてから数日、
It's been a few days since Satoko was taken back to her house.
その間の食事代はおじの財布から出てるよね。
Her uncle's been paying for her meals since then, right?
一応面倒を見てると主張できなくもない。
He is sort of looking after her, so he'd probably insist.
それに1年間サトコをほったらかしたとはいえ、最初の1年間は生活の面倒を見た実績がある。
And even though he abandoned her for a year, he'd already looked after her for the whole year before that.
でも村長にはその実績はない。
But the mayor doesn't have that kind of history.
意地悪なおじさんと村長さんが同時に保護者を主張したら、おじさんの方が強いってこと？
So then if both the mean uncle and the mayor requested guardianship at the same time, the uncle would make more sense?
その可能性が高いってこと。
No, but he'd have a better chance.
それに保護者ってのは実際に面倒を見てる人を指すんだよ。
The term guardian refers to the person actually caring for her, right?
実際に寝床や食事を握ってるおじと名義だけ貸そうとしてる村長じゃどうにもならない。
The uncle actually has a bed and food for her, but the mayor would just have his name. It wouldn't even be a contest.
じゃあ村長が実際に生活の面倒を見ればいいじゃないか。
Then shouldn't the mayor just start caring for her for real?
そうすれば名実ともに村長が保護者になれるんだろう。
He'd be her guardian in name and reality if he did. He just needs to shelter Satoko. That might lead to her uncle being desperate to take her back, but will stubbornly refuse him.
そんな簡単にはいかないよ。
It won't be that easy.
サトコは育ち盛りの女の子なんだよ。
Satoko's a growing girl, you know.
人間一人の面倒を見てくださいなんて、猫の子預けるのとはわけが違う。
It's not like giving someone a cat. You're asking him to care for a real person.
じゃあ監督
Then coach.
監督はどうだよ。
What about coach?
監督ってよくは知らないけど裕福なんだろ。
Coach, I don't know, he's got a lot of money, right?
自分で言ってたくらいなんだし、
He even said it himself.
本当の親でなくても保護者になれるなら監督でも可能なんだ。
Even if he's not a real father, coach could become her guardian.
監督ならサトコの面倒を立派に見てくれる気がする。
Coach would. He would be great at taking care of her.
だから、
Stop that.
サトコをペットみたいに考えないでって。
Stop thinking of Satoko like a pet.
ケイちゃんはさっきからサトコを誰かに押し付ける話ばっかり。
All you're doing is talking about pushing her onto someone else.
人間一人の生活の面倒を見る責任ってものをもっと慎重に考えて。
You need to think more seriously about how much responsibility it is to care for another human being.
監督に聞いたの。
Did you ask him?
サトコを引き取って面倒を見るってちゃんと確約を得たわけ？
Did you get an actual promise from him that he'd take Sadako under his care?
そんなの得てないよ。
No, I didn't.
でも監督なら絶対に OK するだろ
The coach would definitely say yes.
まあいいよ。
Ha, well, fine.
100歩譲って監督が OK したとするよ。
Even considering the 0% probability of coach saying it was okay, then what?
でもダメなんだよ。
Still wouldn't work.
保護者は独身じゃダメなんだよ。
He couldn't become a guardian all by himself. Ah, that's right. Coach, didn't he say it himself? He was alone, so he couldn't do it. Shit, what the hell? Why is being single such a disadvantage in this society? Then, what you could do is marry into a wealthy family, couldn't you?
ひなみ沢にそんなお金持ちはいるのかな？
Is there anyone that wealthy in Hinamizawa?
難しそう。
Not sure.
ね、
See,
簡単じゃないんだよ。
it's not simple.
人間一人引き取るってのは、
It's hard to adopt someone.
誰かに押し付けようなんて短絡的な考えがそもそもダメなの。
And you can't go into it thinking you'll push Sadako into someone else just for a little while.
考えが浅いんだよ、ケイちゃんは。
Being naive, Kei-chan.
う。なんなんだよチクショーチクショー。
Shit, damn it, what the hell?
俺は必死にサトコを救おうと考えてるのにダメだってそればっかり。
I'm desperately thinking of how to save Sadako, and all you're saying is no, no.
お前ら本当はサトコのことなんかどうでもいいんだろ。
Do you care about Sadako at all?
仲間のこと本気で心配してないんだろ。
Are you even worried about our friend one bit?
どうなんだよ。
What do you have to say for yourself?
そんな、
That's...
そんなつもりないよ。
I didn't mean that.
でもそう簡単にはいかないっていうか。
But it just won't be that easy, and
そんな難しい話じゃねえだろ。
it's not that difficult a problem.
裕福な奴がサトコをしばらく面倒見てくれればいい。それだけのことだぞ。
We just need to have some rich people look after Satoko for a while, that's all.
そうだ。ミオンチはどうだよ。
Right, what about your family, Mion?
お前、御三家とかいう立派な家柄なんだって自慢してたよな。
You always brag about how great it is being one of the 3 families or whatever, don't you?
話じゃ、ものすごいでかい家に住んでるそうじゃないか。
From what you've said, you must live in a gigantic house.
うち
My house?
無理無理。そんなのバチャが許してくれるはずない。
No, that won't happen. My grandma would never allow it.
じゃあ、沖宮に住んでる親はどうだよ。
What about your relatives in Okinomiya?
聞いた話じゃ、こっちもかなりの豪邸に住んでるらしいじゃないか。
From what I heard, they're living in luxury themselves.
町には親類の経営する店がたくさんあるそうだし、
There's plenty of shops your relatives manage in town, too.
立派な資産家じゃないかよ、おい。
Family are basically millionaires, aren't they?
ダメダメダメ。
No, that won't work.
沖宮の家なんてもっとダメ。
Going to Okinomiya is even more out of the question.
うちのお父さんそんなの絶対に許さない。
My father, he'd never let it happen, ever.
おいおいおいおい。
Hey.
普段は散々大物ぶりを自慢しといて、ここ一番で及び腰かよ。
Normally you act like some high and mighty bigwig, and now you're being all spineless?
なんなんだよ。
What the hell?
お前、サトコを見殺しにする気かよ。
You're just gonna sit by and watch Sadako suffer?
そんなつもりはないけど。
That's... No, I don't, but...
そりゃ私だってサトコは助けてやりたいよ。
I mean, I want to help her as much as you.
でもそれとこれじゃ話が。
But it's a different story.
話が違うってのかよ。
How is it a different story?
冷てえやつ。
How can you be so cold-hearted?
仲間の危機だろ。
Your friend is in trouble.
ここで救わなかったら何なんだよ。
What are you if you don't rescue her?
部長だろ。
You're our president.
部活の
Our club president.
救えよ。
Save her.
仲間の危機をよ。
Save her from this crisis.
今ここで救わなかったら仲間じゃねえ。人じゃねえ。
If you don't save her right now, you're not her friend. You're not even human.
お前の人間性が問われてるんだよ。
I don't know if you even have any humanity left in you.
聞いてるのかよ、ミオン。
Are you listening to me, Mion? Jesus, Keiichi. My throat hurts. My emotions all exploded out of me, and I didn't even give her a chance to say anything in response. I just wanted to make Mion agree with me, even if I had to force her. If she did, Sadako's problems would be solved. Pushing her would solve the issue, then I'd push her as much as I needed to.
何さっきから黙り込んでんだよ。
Aren't you saying anything anymore?
聞いてるのかこの野郎。
I'm asking you, asshole.
どうなんだよ。なんとか言ってるよ、園崎ミオン。
Well, say something, Mion Sonozaki!
みー
Me? I'm gonna make her cry. Mion, looking down with a grim face, began sobbing. Her hands were clenched into trembling fists, and she rubbed her eyes to wipe away tears. Was what I said actually that mean? This isn't the time to cry. We're in the gambling room now, and we have to do something to save Sadako. And as I thought that, Rena spoke, calm, cold, and incredibly calm.
ケイチ君
Keiichi-kun.
みーちゃん家がダメなら他の裕福な家を探したら
If Michan's family won't work, then what if we look for another wealthy family?
私ひなみ沢に立派な豪邸建てて住んでる人
I know someone in Hinamizawa who lives in a nice big house.
誰だよ。
Who's that?
白々しいよ
Oh, come on.
あれだけ立派な家に住んでて自分の家だけは蚊帳の外
You've got a splendid family, and you're leaving it out of things?
俺んちかよ。
My family?
俺の家は。
My family is...
仲間なんでしょ救ってよケイチ君が
Your friend's right. Save her, Keiichi-kun.
みーちゃんはダメだってさ冷たいから
Michan is cold-hearted after all.
じゃあ仲間思いのケイチ君がお手本示さなきゃダメだね
Since you are so considerate towards friends, you should lead by example.
あれだけ大きなお家に家族3人で住んでるんだっけ
Just the three of you are living in that huge house, right?
じゃあ空き部屋なんかいくらでもあるよね。
And you've probably got plenty of spare rooms.
余ってるお部屋いくつかさとこちゃんに分けてあげればいいじゃない。
You should just give a few of the empty ones to Satoko-chan.
それでめでたくさとこちゃんの悩みは解決。
And then her worries would all be over.
あら何？
What's this?
これでもう終わり？
We're done already?
あっけない話だったね。
That was pretty quick.
はいはい解決お疲れ様。
Okay, great. Congratulations on solving the problem.
じゃあもう今日はいい？
Then are we done for today?
私帰るね。ランランラン。
I'm going home. Hooray, hooray.
今日は久しぶりに宝探しにでも行こうかな。
Maybe I'll go treasure hunting. Haven't done that in a while.
昨日まではずっとさとこちゃんのことが心配で全然遊ぶ気になんかならなかったし、今
I was so worried about Satoko-chan until now that I didn't feel like going to play at all.
日はどんな宝物が見つかるかな。はう
I wonder what I'll find today.
なんか言ってよ。
Say something, will you?
私だけ喋りずくめ？
Why am I the only one talking?
黙ってんじゃないわよ。聞いてんの？前原圭一。
Say something, you bastard. Are you listening, Keiichi Maibara? Christ almighty. I don't like it anymore. Even the cicadas seem to cower in fear. Rena, her shoulders bobbing up and down, and me, who had forgotten to breathe. Mion, whose face had gone completely pale, and Rika-chan, who was keeping silent as if nothing had happened. The atmosphere in the classroom grew tight and stiff, and it petrified us where we stood. Rattle. The sound of the chair as Rena sat back down after having stood up finally allowed everyone present to take a breath. Rena had shown me just how much I'd hurt Mion.
レナが怖いのです。
Rena's scary. After a few moments, Rika-chan cut into the frozen air.
うん。
Yeah,
ごめんねリカちゃん。
I'm sorry, Rika-chan.
みーちゃんもごめん。
Mi-chan, I'm sorry to you too.
圭一くんには謝らなくてもいいよね。
I don't have to apologize to you, do I, Keiichi-kun?
あ、
Yeah,
ごめん。
I'm sorry.
めちゃくちゃなこと言って悪かった。
Sorry for being so unreasonable.
さっきのあれ、私に言ってたの？
Were you saying all that to me before?
みーちゃん睨みながら言ってたから、私てっきりみーちゃんに言ってるもんだとばかり思ってた。
You said it while glaring at Mi-chan, so I totally thought you were talking to her. Rena had such strength, you wouldn't have imagined it normally. All I did was spout terrible things as a wave of violent fury passed over me. Couldn't contend with her.
ミオン、ごめん。
Mion, I'm sorry.
頭に血が上ってた。
I lost my cool. Come to think of it, I didn't understand what had got me that riled up. I thought of myself as Satoko's Nini, so I only had good intentions. But I think I batted a little harder than everyone else, and yet,
うん、 いいよ。
it's okay.
私こそケイちゃんが一生懸命悩んでるのに、あれはダメこれはダメばっかり言って。
You were worrying with everything you had, but all I was saying was that nothing would work.
ごめんね。
So I'm sorry.
私も悪かった。
I did something wrong too. Mion rubbed away the tears at the corners of her eyes with her fists and apologized as well. We bowed our heads to each other and looked down without glancing at the other. Someone, I don't know who, heaved a sigh. Satoko being tormented had been known about since last year. How had tragedy back then saved Satoko? Why'd they brought it to an end? Right. In the end, nobody could do anything. All they could do was bear it patiently and wait for those agonizing days to end. That's right. The one who brought an end to those terrible days was some crazy drug addict nobody knew. On the night of Watsunagashi last year, their mean aunt had been beaten to death. But it hadn't been done to save Satoko or Satoshi. Right. It really was just a coincidence. Sadako's friends, who needed to do something for her most of all, could do nothing. The incident may have been a tragic one, but from Sadako's viewpoint, it was nothing less than a miracle. Yes, a miracle. A miracle one could only wait for.
待つしかないのかよ
Is waiting all
俺たちには
we can do? Not for evidence of abuse. For something that minor.
え
Huh?
何をかな
Wait, for what?
奇跡
A miracle. No one made fun of me for using such a crazy word. We couldn't come up with any solutions. It was the only thing we could do.
無力なんだよ
We're
私たちは
powerless. That one word Mion dropped was the finishing blow. It was hot. My body was sticky with sweat. The worst month, June. I walked forward quite a ways, then turned right where the rice fields ended. I'd never come here before, so I had no idea where to go. I got lost several times, so it may have taken quite a long way around. Maybe I should have gone back home and gotten my bike first. You really get a feel for Ryukishi's experience as a social worker this chapter? Oh, you can feel it. 'Cause, I mean, that's unfortunately a real thing. Is, like, you know, those child protective services. Uh, like, unless it's concrete proof of abuse, you know, like, you know, bruises or scars or whatever, or definitive evidence of psychological, like, trauma, like, or neglect, right? If the house isn't in order, or if the kid is left alone for long periods of time, like, they really can't do anything as it works right now, you know. So that is a real problem, and of course, you know, you call CPS on like an abuser, and then that either just leads to them being more abusive and or being more careful about hiding what they do. It's definitely a real problem. It would have made everyone else worry if I'd asked them. So I asked one of our other classmates where Sadako's actual house was. That house was originally her family's, apparently, not their uncle and his wife's. Their house had been bigger, so they'd taken it for themselves. Right here. Several houses all in a line. Over there? I was visiting Sadako's house, but didn't particularly intend to meet her there. I didn't mean to spy on the enemy, her mean uncle either. Maybe I just wanted to be a little closer to her, as her Nini. Pretty words, but I didn't know if they were true. What Tomito-kun and the others told me was right. It'd be this house? When I recognized it, my feet grew heavy. What did I come here for? My motive for coming here was absurd. When Mion had said at the end that we were powerless, it made me sort of frustrated. I just wanted to do something, anything other than waste the days away praying for a miracle. That's what made me come here. But that was all. Even if I were to witness our uncle actually tormenting Sadako, what could I do? Would I act like a comic book hero, punch the guy in the face and take Satoko away with me? Then live together somewhere far away? That was ridiculous.
俺は無力だ。
I'm powerless. The cicadas' voices raised in chorus sounded like they were scoffing at me. As though they were saying that if I couldn't do anything and wouldn't do anything, I should just go back home. I heard a car approaching, so I got out of its way. But the car stopped right behind me, its horn honking shortly once. Annoyed, hadn't I gotten out of their way? I looked behind me. A familiar face was looking at me out of the driver's seat window.
監督、
Coach.
こんにちは。前原さん。
Hello, my bar-san.
こんなところでお会いするとは本当に奇遇です。
How unexpected to meet you all the way out here.
お家は近くなんですか？
Do you live nearby? Me being here wasn't normal. Just as I considered somehow giving him the slip, I noticed Satoko sitting on the passenger seat.
さとこ？
Satoko? Oh. Satoko got out of the car and began unloading a ton of groceries from the trunk.
買い物の帰りに偶然監督にお会いしたんですのよ。
I happened to run into Coach on my way back from shopping.
送ってくださるというのでお言葉に甘えたのですわ。
He said he'd bring me home, so I accepted his offer.
自転車でこんなに買い物をしたら運びきれませんからね。
She wouldn't have been able to carry all those groceries on her bike. As Coach spoke, he pulled Satoko's bike from out of the back seat where they'd put it. Grocery bags are big, and there were 4 of them. They all seemed to be packed full and very heavy.
この袋、セブンスマート？
Those bags. 7 Smart?
おいおい、自転車で行くにはちょっと遠すぎないか？
Hey, isn't that a little far to go by bicycle? I looked at the bags and saw that they were filled to the brim with sake bottles, snacks that you eat with sake, and boxes of cigarettes. Their weight was one thing, but their contents were nothing less than luxury items.
監督のおかげで助かりましたわ。
I made it thanks to Coach. He helped me out.
ちょっと坂道は辛かったですから。
It was a little difficult going up those hills. Satoko gave Coach a smile filled with gratitude. But it was incredibly awkward and even heartrending.
さとこ、
Satoko,
この買い物、今晩の晩飯ってわけじゃないだろ？
these groceries aren't for dinner tonight, are they?
当然ですわ。
Of course not.
私、お酒なんか飲めませんし、おつまみも嫌いですし、
I do not drink sake, and I hate
タ
snacks.
バコなんか吸うわけ。
Of course, I don't smoke either. He made Satoko go to a distant store by herself on her bike. She could buy dumb shit like this? What was the uncle doing right now anyway? Must have been working up a good sweat at this very moment if he needed to send Satoko out by herself, right? If not, then how much had Satoko suffered for no reason? I hadn't intended to voice my feelings, but they may have made it into my face. Coach might have noticed because he clapped me on the shoulder. Just then, one of the house windows clattered open, and the face of a vulgar man, the very sight of which made me immediately avert my eyes, emerged from within it. There were no self-introductions necessary. My gut told me this was the uncle in question. The first thing out of his mouth should have been words of gratitude for Satoko.
さとこ、
Satoko!
缶のガスかけっぱなしで出よったんな、この。
You left the heat for the sake on when you left, you half-wit.
ごめんなさい。
I'm sorry,
でも、すぐに買いに行けって言ったから。
but you told me to go right away.
やかましいわ。
Shut up.
せっかくの近所台無しにしよってん。
Gone and ruined it. It was the good stuff, too.
どうしよってんじゃ。
What do you do about it?
ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい。
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Sadako miserably apologized over and over, bowing again and again. She could be perfectly described as a small animal. I had no idea what was happening. Sadako finished shopping for all this heavy stuff that wasn't even for dinner. She only managed to come back because she ran into Coach and he drove her home. If she hadn't been found by him, she'd surely still be by herself, panting and moaning, pedaling her bicycle up that steep hill. It was with those words, those horrible, sleazy words that he said to Sadako. What country's dictionary to tell him to say such things? A young girl who'd just finished shopping. My anger, of course, wouldn't reach him. The uncle displayed no interest in me, instead shouting at Coach.
おや、
Oh,
入江の先生じゃないですか。
if it isn't Dr. Erie.
こんにちは。
Hello, hello.
そしたら先生も上がっていきますか。
Why don't you come on inside too?
もうオーラスですからすぐ入れますよ。
We're in the last round, so you can get in right away.
ピンのワンツー、何でもありで。
100 yen per 1,000 points, and anything goes.
いえ、遠慮します。
No, I'll pass, thank you.
さとこちゃんとは偶然お会いしたんで、ちょっとお送りしてあげただけです。
I just ran into Sadako-chan and gave her a lift is all.
すぐに失礼します。
I'll be leaving now.
そんな、ちょっとぐらいやっててくださいな。
Ah, nah. Come play around.
先生お金持ちじゃないですか。
You got a lot of money, yeah? I didn't even understand what her uncle and Coach were talking about. But I knew one thing for sure. None of what he had just said had been to thank Sadako in any way.
さとこ、とっととカーキも持ってこんかい。
Sadako, could you bring us the damn snacks?
ビールも冷めてもうた。
Start getting those beers chilled too.
冷蔵庫から冷えてるの出してくれな。
Go get us some cold ones from the fridge.
てっちゃん、娘に厳しすぎや。
Tetchan, you're so harsh on her.
もうちょい言いたわらんとかわいそうやで。
She looks so sad. You should take better care of her.
あんな娘には
This is how I
このくらい
gotta
で
treat
ち
her.
ょうどいいよ。兄貴んちにいた頃からそうでよ。
She's been like this since she was with my bro.
甘やかすと親の言うことをなんも聞かんやっちゃよ。たく。
Spoiler, and she ain't gonna listen to a damn thing you say. Shit.
それよか、てっちゃんのツモだぜよ。
Whatever. It's your draw, Tetchan.
椿さん、リーチしよったで。
Tsubaki-san declared Richi too.
おう、悪い悪い。
Sorry.
なんね。椿、あんたまたリーチかいな。
What? You're in Richi again, Tsubaki. It looked like it wasn't just her uncle. Some of his friends were over. Hey, wait. What was he? No, what were they doing? Flinging rude words left and right? Making Sadako go shopping for your beer? What were they doing?
町からおじさまのお友達が来てて、麻雀やってますの。
My uncle's friends came from town and they're playing mahjong.
お友達のお夕食もご用意するように言われてますのよ。
Told me to prepare dinner for them as well.
なんだよ、それ。
What the hell? Mahjong? Called his friends over for mahjong? They were too busy playing, so they sent Sadako to buy them a crapload of booze from a faraway store. The first thing he said to her was how she left the gas on? What the hell? What the hell? What the hell?
何やってんだよ、あいつ。
What does that guy think he's doing?
麻雀ってそんなのに遊びほうけて、さとこにこんなのを買いに行かせるのかよ。
We could get lost in some dumb game of mahjong and send Sadako to buy all this stuff. Even though Coach was listening, he pretended he wasn't. There was a line of heavy-looking shopping bags lined up on the ground next to the trunk.
さあ、前原さんも手伝ってあげてください。
My bar-san, you help too, please.
ほら、男の子なんですから、 こっちの重い袋を持ちましょう。
You're a boy. You get to carry this heavy one.
監督、
Coach,
こんなのまかり通っていいんですか？
you gonna let this slide?
こんなの絶対に。
This is completely... Coach pretended he hadn't heard that violent outburst either. When I thought about it later, his reaction might have been the best thing he could do in that situation.
私も2つ持ちますから。
I'll carry 2 of them myself.
ほら、
Come on.
前原さんも持つのを手伝ってあげてください。
Help us carry them, please. The bags were packed to the brim with bottles of sake and bar snacks. They were so heavy. And so filthy, so unfair. They weren't just heavy in terms of weight. They made me feel mortified. Nothing could have been heavier than that.
ケイチさん、無理しないでいいんですのよ。
Keiji-san, there's no need to push yourself.
私も持ちますわ。
I'll carry it. Satoko mistook my biting back the humiliation as grimacing under the weight and offered to help.
バカ、
Stupid.
俺を舐めるな。
Don't underestimate me. Satoko had never looked down on my physical strength in the slightest.
監督もすみませんわね。
Coach, I'm sorry for you too.
重いでしょ？
It must be heavy. No, not at all, answered Coach, smiling vaguely. Coolly. But I, and I alone, knew. Coach was an adult, so he just knew how to keep his feelings from showing. There was even more anger than I was feeling, burning deep in his eyes.
いや、
Well,
重いですね。
it's heavy. Shit. It wasn't very far to the doorstep of Sadako's house, but the bag squeezed my palms and started leaving red marks. Ugh. Fury welled up in me, and the back of my throat stung. But even if it all came gushing out, it wouldn't solve anything. So, just tightly gritting my teeth was as much as I could do.
本当にありがとうございますですわ。
Really, thank you so much,
監督も
both
ケイ
of
チ
you.
さんもおかげで本当に助かりましたでございます。
You really helped me here. After we carried them to the back door, Sadako said that was enough. Occasionally, we'd hear the repulsive laughing of her uncle and his friends from within. My insides would seethe. I knew they weren't ridiculing us. And that was why it made me so mad. They made Sadako shop for all this heavy, selfish stuff, then ignored her and laughed amongst themselves as they pleased. It was deeply aggravating. Of course, Coach had to have felt the same way. But if he accidentally let his feelings slip into his face, he'd only cause Sadako more worry. He knew all that, spoke coolly, as if to say he didn't care.
いいえ、
Not at all.
ささやかでもお力になれたなら。
I'm happy I could be a bit of help for you.
お手伝いできそうなことがあったらいつでも言ってくださいね。
If there's anything else I can help with, please tell me.
ええ、
Yes,
お気持ちだけでも本当に嬉しいですわ。
I really am happy you feel that way. That he feels that way. Those words were sad. Sadako herself was sad, resigned that we could only help her so much. She was right. No matter how much Coach or I want to help Sadako, this was as much as we could do. I felt absolutely ashamed at not having the power to help her any more than this. Burning, boiling emotions were bubbling up within me and rising into my throat. Trembling all over, I almost started to cry from my fury.
俺も力になれることがあったらいつでも力を貸すから。
Me too. If there's anything I can do, I'll help you whenever you need.
その頑張れよな。
So, hang in there. I wanted to at least Give her those trite words, saying that I'd help her whenever she wanted.
ええ、
Yes,
ありがとうございますわ。
thank you very much.
わざわざこうしてここまで来てくださっただけでも嬉しかったですわ。
I'm happy just that you came all the way here when you didn't need to. Sadako seemed to have guessed what I was doing in a place like this. And my house was in the opposite direction from school.
さ
Alright,
あ、もう行った方がよろしいですわ。
you should get going.
今は酔っ払ってますから、どんな難癖をつけられるかわかりませんわよ。
They're drunk right now, so there's no telling what they'll get mad at you for. She felt guilty getting us involved after we'd helped her. Because she wanted to be the only one to suffer this misfortune. That's how it looked, and it hurt. I handed my supermarket bag over to Satoko. And then I noticed on the back of Satoko's hand, there was something that looked like a bruise.
おい、サトコ。このあざ、どうしたんだよ。
Hey, Satoko, what the heck is that bruise? I knew as much as anyone else how transparent that sounded. I didn't need to hear it from Sadako to know how this bruise came to be.
階段で転んだ時にちょっと打っただけですのよ。
I just slipped on the stairs and hit it a little.
気になさらないでくださいませ。
Please, pay it no mind.
嘘だろ。
You're lying. Coach nudged me in the back. And then he put his index finger to his mouth to chide me for being so loud.
本当にありがとうございましたですわ。
Really, thank you so much.
では明日、
Till tomorrow.
学校でお会いできるといいですわね。
Hope we can see each other at school.
そんな話してないだろ。
That's not what I'm talking about.
その手のあざはどうしたって聞いてるんだよ。
I assure you got that bruise on your hand.
あ
The evening glow finally got to a point where I could see the other concealed oval-shaped bruises and traces of swelling on her neck, and her legs, and other places too.
階段から落ちたんですの。
I fell down the stairs. The very moment my violent, rampaging emotions were about to burst their way out of my throat, I found my mouth being tightly clamped down on. Coach was pressing down on my mouth from behind, wrapping around me tightly with his hands. Because of that, I couldn't say anything. I could only groan, which I did. That was all I could do. I need to expel all the magma sitting deep within me, because otherwise I'd surely explode into a million pieces that very moment. So I groaned. I groaned. From my mouth, from my whole body, while heat fell in drops from my eyes. I groaned and groaned. I groaned to the point of exhaustion. I wrung absolutely everything out of myself. Even having lost my voice, I was still wringing it all out.
気持ちはわかります。
I understand how you feel.
わかりますから、前原さん。
Really do, my Bara-san.
今だけこらえてください。
Please, please just endure it for now.
お願いですから。前原さん。
Please, I'm asking you, my Bara-san. Endure it for now. Then what, huh? What happened to her? To Sadako? Her body and mind were wounded. She was being made to suffer like this. Can you not even let me howl in vain at it? Is that it, Coach? Are we this powerless? So powerless that we can't even fucking scream from the bottom of our hearts? The voices of the Higurashi made me calm down. I didn't know how long it had been Sadako abruptly gave a slight bow.
ありがとうございますですわ、ケイチさん。
Thank you very much, Keiichi-san.
サトコ
Sadako.
今ケイチさんが本当のニーニーみたいに見えました。
You looked a lot like my real Nini just now.
私の本当のニーニーはいなくなってしまったけど、
My real Nini may not be here anymore,
私にはケイチさんというニーニーがいてくれる。
but I have another Nini named Keiichi-san.
そうだ、
Yeah, you got it.
俺がお前のニーニーだ。
I'm your Nini.
お前が辛い時絶対に助けてやるから。
And when you're in pain, I'll help you no matter what.
ニーニーがサトコをきっと助けてやるからな。
Your Nini will rescue you for sure. Satoshi Hojo, you fucking idiot. Not now, then when? Sadako, she's never been in more pain in her life. Nini doesn't save her now, then when will he? Why did you run away? Why did you abandon her? Why did you leave Sadako behind? You don't have any right to call yourself Sadako's Nini.
俺は逃げないからな。
I won't run away. Huh?
絶対に逃げない。
I definitely won't run away.
サトシみたいにお前を見捨てて逃げたりしない。
I won't run away and abandon you like Satoshi did.
絶対に
No way.
俺はお前を見捨てない。
I'll not abandon you. Slip. Tears trickled down from Sadako's eyes. And then she narrowed her eyes into a smile.
さよなら
Goodbye,
ニーニー。
Nini. Sadako took her right hand and awkwardly waved to me.
大丈夫ですわ。
I'll be alright.
今のニーニーので私いっぱい力をもらいましたから。
My Nini now helped me so much.
大丈夫。
So I'll be okay.
明日まで頑張れますから。
I'll do my best until tomorrow.
大丈夫。
I'll be okay.
だから
So,
今日はさよならでございますわよ。
for today, this is goodbye. There's no way that I could say bye, see you tomorrow. And then from inside the house came a throaty, disgusting voice.
サトコ
Sadako,
はよ乾きも持ってこんかい。
could you bring us the snacks already?
さあニーニー
Okay, Nini,
早く行ってくださいませ。
get going already.
もう私は大丈夫ですから。
I'll be fine now.
早く。
Hurry.
行きましょう、前原さん。
Let's go, my Bara-san.
これ以上は帰ってサトコちゃんに迷惑をかけます。
Staying any longer than this would be a bother to Sadako-chan.
監督、
Coach,
ニーニーのお家はちょっと遠いんですの。
Nini's house is a little far away.
申し訳ございませんが、送ってあげていただけます？
Sorry to ask you this, but could you take him home?
ええ、
Yes,
わかりました。
I'll do that. Coach grabbed me by my collar, and with strength I couldn't have imagined him having, started dragging me away. And I, unable to oppose him, started getting farther away from Sadako. She waved her hand to us, expression still dark, and disappeared through the back door. Coach got into the car first, then turned around on the narrow path and brought the passenger side door around for me.
前原さんの気持ちは痛いくらいにわかります。
I know how you feel so well it hurts.
いえ、前原さん以上にわかるつもりです。
No, I think I understand it even more than you.
でも、今この場だけはこらえてください。
Right now, just for now, please endure it.
あなたの心は確かに伝わりましたから。
She understood exactly how you feel.
だから、こらえてください。
So, please endure it.
でないと、
If you don't,
もうわかってます。
I know already.
すみません。さっきはありがとうございました。
I'm sorry. Thank you for before. I meekly got into the passenger seat. The car accelerated quietly. Sadako's house grew farther and farther away in the rearview mirror. We made a wide turn, and then I couldn't see her house anymore.
え
Hmm?
あなたのお家そんな遠くなんですか
Is your house that far away?
学校の反対側じゃないですか
It's in the other direction from the school, isn't it? I didn't bother to reply. I would have been hard-pressed to give him an answer as to why I was at Sadako's house. Coach didn't say anything more either. For a while, the two of us were silent. The only sounds from the gravel spraying over the road as we drove. I remembered how Rena said things were different than last year. At the time, she had Satoshi with her. Satoshi protected Sadako, so the less of the sparks fell onto her.
でも今はサトシはいない
But now, Satoshi isn't here.
はい
Yes,
残酷ですがそれが事実です
that's the unfortunate truth. Coach seemed to understand what I really meant when I said that.
悲しくあまりに残酷な話ですが
It's a terribly sad, cruel story.
私たちの決意や努力尽力には限界があります
There's a limit to our resolve, our efforts, and our assistance. It sounded like an excuse, but he was right. Even if Coach and I wanted to be people Sadako could depend on, that was all. It ended at the front door. No matter how much I shouted that I would be her Nini, no matter how much I shouted that I wouldn't abandon her, no matter how much Sadako called me Nini, couldn't do any more than that.
サトシは一体どこに行っちまったんですか
Where on earth could Satoshi have gone? Right, Satoshi was another story. Her actual brother, Satoshi, he was in a position to protect her far, far better than we ever could. That was the cold, sad truth. The massive gulf between Satoshi and us.
今頃
I wonder
どこでどうしているんでしょう
what he's been doing lately. Satoshi left home. I didn't know why. It was because of Oyashiro-sama's curse, or he disappeared or something. In any case, he wasn't beside Sadako now. At the time Sadako needed him to protect her most, he wasn't here.
どうして今ここにいないんですか
Why isn't he here?
一番守ってやらなければならないこの時に
Sadako needs him now more than ever.
お社様のたたりがどうとかいろいろ言われてますが
A lot of people talk about Oyashiro-sama's curse.
家出した
The only thing I can say
としか言えません
is that he ran away.
ある日を境に帰ってこないって仲間が言ってました
One of my friends said that one day he just never came back.
妹の聡子に書き置き一つ残さずに家出を
He ran away without even leaving so much as a note for his sister?
サトシ君はコツコツとアルバイトをしてたんです
Satoshi-kun had been doing part-time jobs a lot.
サトコちゃんが当時とても大きなぬいぐるみを欲しがってましてね
At the time, Sadako-chan really wanted this huge stuffed animal.
結構いい値段らしくてそのためにアルバイトをいろいろとしていたらしいんです
It ended up costing a lot, so he was doing all sorts of part-time jobs in order to afford it.
妹思いの兄でしたからね
Felt so strongly about it.
おじ夫婦のもとで不憫な生活を強いられている妹に少しでも立派な誕生日プレゼントを贈ろうとしているんじゃないかってみんなささやき合っていました
Everyone was whispering about how he at least wanted to get his sister a nice birthday present, since she was being made to live such a pitiful life with her uncle and his wife. In the end, he didn't use his savings for a birthday present for Sadako.
サトシ君がいなくなり警察がいろいろと調べたら
Satoshi-kun disappeared, and the police looked long and hard.
サトシ君の貯金が当日すべて本人によって下ろされていることが分かりました
They found out that Satoshi-kun had withdrawn all his savings himself on the day he left.
方々をいろいろと調べた結果、その貯金を資金に東京の方に行ったんではないかということになりました。
After checking all over, they began to think that maybe he'd used his savings to go to Tokyo.
東京
Tokyo?
何しに
What?
家出
Again.
としか言いようがないじゃないですか。
All I can say was that he ran away.
自分が逃げ出すための資金をコツコツと貯めて、
He saved up all that money so he could run away?
そこまでは勝手ですよ。
Was that selfish?
でもサトコを置いてくことはないじゃないですか。
But how could he just leave Satoko behind?
同じ家出するならサトコも連れて行くべきだった。
He was gonna run away anyway. He should have brought Satoko with him. Even now, Coach was still calm. He wasn't trying to pour any oil on the fire of my anger at all. He just waited until my anger naturally subsided. After listening to gravel being crushed under the wheels for a little while, Coach spoke abruptly.
察してください。
Please understand.
置いていかれたさとこちゃんも同じ考えに至ったんです。
Satoko-chan, left behind, arrived at the same conclusion. I'm a burden on my brother, and that's why he abandoned me. He didn't take her with him when he left. How terrible must Satoko have felt, being betrayed by the brother she loved so much.
でもさとこちゃんはとても強い人でした。
But Satoko-chan was a very strong person.
もちろん親しい友人たちの支えもあってのことでしたが、ああして笑顔を取り戻すことができました。
Of course, she had the support of close friends too. But that was how she regained her smile. I recalled how Sadako had spoken of Satoshi so brightly when I was eating dinner with her and Rika-chan a few days ago. At the time, I didn't think any more of it than how pleasant their sibling love had been. And now that I did think about it, I realized it was like she was peering into the distance from atop a pile of tragic perseverance.
サトシ君はきっと帰ってくる。
She said Satoshi-kun will come back for sure.
その時までにお荷物じゃなくなった自分を見てほしいって。
And that when he did, she wanted him to see how she was no longer a burden.
サトコはお荷物なんかじゃないですよ。
Sadako isn't a burden.
あいつ俺なんかよりよっぽど生活力はあるし、大抵のことは何だってできる。
She's way better at day-to-day living than me. She can do pretty much anything.
そりゃレナやリカちゃんなんかと比べれば劣る点はたくさんあるかもしれないけど、そこいらのやつよりよっぽど一人前ですよ。
I mean, she might fall behind Rena or Rika-chan in certain aspects, but she's way more of an adult than most people.
サトシ君がいつ帰ってきてもいいように、そういう風になれるよう努力した結果です。
That's the result of her having worked so hard, since she didn't know when Satoshi would come home.
涙ぐましい努力があったんですよ。
Her efforts are so painful. Well, she lived with Rika-chan. Well, Rika-chan taught her how to handle everything flawlessly. All that's so that she could welcome back Satoshi at any time. So that she could show him she wasn't ashamed.
で、そのサトシはいつ帰ってくるんですか？
So, when is Satoshi going to come back? I asked Coach, but I knew he wouldn't be able to answer. In any case, Satoshi ran away. He left Sadako and ran away from Hinamizawa. Someone said that when you leave Hinamizawa and run away, Oishiro-sama's curse gets you, right? Then, that made sense. Satoshi running away and his disappearance. That would obviously mean people thought it was the curse, right? And they could smile. So it were his own fault. As though he got what he deserved. Hey, Oyashiro-sama, whoever you are. Satoshi didn't vanish because he ran away. You demoned him away with your curse, didn't you? That's not what happened. I won't forgive you.
サトシはいつ頃逃げ出したんですか？
When did Satoshi run away?
去年の綿流しのお祭りの夜。
The night of the Watanagashi festival last year,
おばが異常者に殺されて、
when their aunt was killed by that deviant.
その数日後の
It was a few days after that,
さとこちゃんの誕生日にです。
on Satoko-chan's birthday.
サトコの誕生日に？
Satoko's birthday? Bang. I slammed my hands on the dashboard in front of me with all my might. Satoshi, of all the days, he could have chosen to run away. Their aunt just died a few days before, didn't she? All your days of suffering were about to end, weren't they? You were just about to start thinking about a new life, weren't you? It's wrong to be happy about someone dying. For Sadako and her brother, birthday had come at a critical turning point. Their mean uncle had fled town and the siblings would be left alone. They should have been able to be happy about that. Sadako's birthday. Sadako was probably waiting for her brother to return the whole time. Waiting for her brother to return when he never did. Waiting with bated breath for her brother to return. Her hopes and dreams of a new life to come growing even larger. But no matter how long she waited, he didn't come back. Didn't even contact her. Sadako, trembling in anticipation of a great present. Just when? When would she have to face the cold, terrible truth? Satoshi, you fucking idiot. I could feel my blood rising to my head, my anger at Satoshi. I was frustrated. I was aggravated. Couldn't forgive him. Sadako still respected and adored her brother, yet he so heartlessly betrayed her. Such a person wouldn't just come back. Now when he was most needed. Yes, no one would protect her. Not even her real brother Satoshi.
だから、あなたがニーニーだと認めてもらえて嬉しかったです。
So when she started to see you as her Nini, I was happy.
え？
Huh?
私もさとこちゃんの幸せを祈る一人ですが、社会的立場があり、日中は仕事をしている身です。
I pray for Sadako-chan's happiness as well. I have a position in society and a job to do every day.
私がさとこちゃんのために割いてあげられる時間は少ない。
I have little time that I can devote to Sadako-chan.
でもあなたは違います。
But you're different.
学校で生活を共にし、さとこちゃんやさとしくんとも年はほとんど離れていない。
You go to school with her, and you're closer to her and Satoshi-kun in age.
あなたは自分ができることに限りがあると思っていますが、
I know you think you can only do so much.
それでも私よりはずっとさとこちゃんに手を差し伸べられる場所にいるのです。
But you're in a position where you can give Sadako-chan a hand much better than I can.
だから私の分までさとこちゃんの力になってあげてほしい。
So, I want you to help her enough for the both of us.
そう願っています。
That's what I wish for.
そんなことは
But that's...
監督だって。
Coach, you could...
もちろん年季のある私だからこそできる助けだっていろいろあると思います。
Of course, with my job skills, there are plenty of things only I can help her with.
同じようにあなたにしかできない助けだってあるということです。
But in the same way, there are things only you can do for her.
私たちは互いにそれを全うすべきだと申し上げたいのです。
What I want to say is, we should both perform in every way we can. Is that a little too complicated? Coach added that, but I shook my head in response. When I heard him say he had job skills, it reminded me that he was an adult, in a different position from all of us. Maybe I should ask him about it.
監督は法律とか詳しいですか？
Oh, Coach, do you know a lot about laws?
いえ、平均的に疎いですが、何か。
No, I know even less than the average person. Why? I thought back to when I argued with Mion and the others about Satoko. Our children's argument had only left us with the conclusion that we had to wait and see. What would an adult think?
児童福祉法でしたっけ？
What was it? Child welfare law?
児童の安全を確保するために緊急措置として親子を分離させるという方法があるそうです。
As an emergency measure to secure the safety of a juvenile, they can force him or her to separate from the parents.
緊急措置？
They can do that?
じゃあすぐに聡子をおじの元から救い出せるということじゃないですか。
So then we could rescue Sadako from her uncle right away.
聡子ちゃんが
Sadako-chan
それを望まないかもしれません。
might not want that.
虐待されている本人が避難を望まなければ弱いでしょうから。
Unless the person being abused wants shelter anyway. Doesn't go that far.
聡子が望まない？
Sadako doesn't want it?
どうして？
Why? Coach didn't answer me. I didn't know why he didn't. Clear as day that Sadako's uncle was being violent and treating her like a slave. So then why? I clamped down on my frenzied emotions and waited intently for Coach to answer. But he never did. It wasn't like he was pretending he hadn't heard me. I had to say, it's more like he wanted to explain, but he couldn't put it into the right words.
聡子ちゃんは多分そういういじめに耐えるのを試練だと考えているかもしれません。
Sadako-chan probably thinks of this abuse as a trial.
試練？
A trial?
変な宗教じゃあるまいし。
This isn't some weird religion we're talking about.
ご存知と思いますが、サトシ君は聡子ちゃんをずっとかばってきました。
You might know this, but Satoshi-kun always looked out for Sadako-chan.
聡子ちゃんもずっとサトシ君に頼ってきました。
She always relied on him,
甘えてきたと言うべきかもしれません。
almost as though she was utterly dependent on him. I'd known for a while that Satoshi had always protected Sadako from their aunt and uncle. It was his duty as an older brother, not something to worry about.
それがトラウマになったかもしれないんですよ。
I think that may have traumatized her.
自分が兄にもたれかかりすぎたから兄が自分を嫌ってしまったんではないかってね。
Maybe she figured that depending so heavily on her brother made him hate her. And for Sadako, the current situation was a retelling of the story of a little over a year ago. But this time, Satoshi wasn't here.
だから誰にも頼らずに自分の力だけで試練を乗り越えたい。
She wants to overcome this trial by herself, without relying on anyone else.
そういう力を身につけなければサトシ君は帰ってこない。
That if she doesn't grow strong, then Satoshi-kun will never return.
そういう考えになっている
She thinks something like that now,
と私は考えます。
or so I believe. Now that he mentioned it, Sadako had never said a word about how hard it had been before. I figured she was being threatened not to talk about it, but
みんなと相談して児童相談所とかに通報すべきかなんて話をしてました。
I talked with everyone and we were wondering if we should report it to the Child Consultation Center.
聞いてますよね。
I have heard
昨年も福祉士さんがサトコちゃんのところに行ってるのは
that a social worker was visiting Sadako-chan last year.
はい。
Yes.
結局様子見で余計にいじめられたって話も。
In the end, they decided to wait and see. We thought maybe that made her get tormented even more.
あれサトコちゃんが自分で通報したらしいんです。
That was... Apparently, Sadako-chan reported it herself.
でその結果余計いじめが水面下へ移行してエスカレートした。
And as a result, the abuse worsened, but was just kept out of sight.
サトコちゃんに降りかかるいじめも増え、それをかばうサトシ君の負担も著しく増えた。
She was under even more torment, and the burden on Satoshi-kun for protecting her rose considerably.
ひょっとして聡子、
Could Sadako...
それ通報した自分の責任だなんて思ってるんじゃ。
She wouldn't be thinking it's her own fault for reporting it, would she? Coach nodded quietly.
多分サトコちゃんに通報の話をするととても嫌がるが、その必要はないと強がりを言うと思います。
Sadako-chan would probably either hate it if you suggested reporting the abuse, or feign courage and say you didn't need to.
聡子ちゃんに内緒で通報したとしても、福祉士に対して自分は虐待を受けていないと言い張るでしょうね。
And even if you reported in secret, she'd probably insist to the social worker that she wasn't being abused. Sadako always acts tough and doesn't readily admit defeat, so I could imagine that easily.
一応児童相談所には裁判所の許可も当事者の許可も一切不要で緊急措置ができる強い権限があるんだそうです。
The Child Consultation Center has enormous authority in these matters. They can take emergency measures without needing any permission from a court or the concerned child.
虐待が公然の事実なら、聡子ちゃんが否定しても身柄は強制的に保護されるでしょう。
If the abuse was known to the public, they could forcibly shelter her even if she denied it.
それは聡子ちゃんにとっては負けを意味するものなのかもしれませんが。
For Sadako-chan, that would probably mean losing.
勝ち負けの問題じゃないですよ。
This isn't about winning or losing.
聡子は現実に
It's real life. Sadako, she's...
話を折りますが、
Back on topic.
身柄が保護されると養護院等の施設に送致されます。
After they placed her under their protection, she would be sent to a child care institution or the like.
そうするとですね、そこで暮らすことになるので、つまり引っ越しということになります。
She would basically be living there, so it would mean moving away.
ですから学区変更で転校にもなります。
And with the change in residence would come a change in schools too.
T-
That
転校は
changing schools
仕方ないです。
has to be done.
それであいつが保護されるなら
That's what it'll take for her to be safe.
聡子ちゃんはその辺の事情も知っています。
Sadako-chan understands all those things.
だからますます保護を望みません。
All the more reason for her not to want it.
どうして
Why?
あの家でサトシ君の帰りを待つのが聡子ちゃんの生きる理由だからですよ。
Because Sadako-chan's reason for living is to wait at that house for Satoshi-kun to return.
兄に捨てられ廃人同然になりかけた少女が何に生きる理由を見出したか。
She was a husk, an empty shell after being abandoned by her brother. How did she find her reason to live?
あなたのでなく聡子ちゃんの価値観で考えてあげてください。
Try looking at it from Sadako-chan's point of view rather than your own.
と
I felt like he was trying to confuse me with that hard to understand, roundabout way of talking so unique to adults. The point was that I couldn't do anything about Sadako wanting to stay in that house. And that I should watch until she gives in. In the end, no matter what I said, Coach himself was saying to wait and see.
俺はわかりませんよ。
I don't understand.
はい。
What?
俺は本当に聡子が危ないと感じたら誰の意思も聞かずに通報します。
If I feel that Sadako is really in danger, I'll report it without asking anyone's opinion.
その結果、聡子は不快な思いをして俺を恨むことがあるかもしれないけど、
She might not be happy with the result. She might hate me for it.
最終的にはそれが聡子の幸せにつながると信じます。
But I believe that will ultimately be what brings Sadako happiness. Coach turned to me and gazed fixedly into my eyes. It was written all over his face. He was shocked at what such a young kid had said.
どうしてあなたはそこまで。
Why would you go that far? Coach, no, rather normal adults, might not have understood. So I taught him the creed and the values that I believed in.
聡子は俺の仲間だから。
Sadako is my friend,
そして俺は聡子のニーニーだから。では、
and I'm
理
Sadako's
由は
Nini.
足りませんか？
Isn't that enough of a reason? I stare at him with a will strong and unbreakable as steel as his eyes betrayed a tiny bit of unrest.
いえ、足りないなんてことはありません。
No, of course that's enough. We were silent for a little while, until finally Coach said only that.
誓ったじゃないですか、俺たち。
Didn't we make a promise?
すみません。
I'm sorry, what?
サトコを絶対に泣かせないって。
That we weren't ever gonna let Sadako cry. We made a vow on that day of the barbecue party. I didn't think about it hard at all. Coach and I still made a promise. That we would never let Sadako cry. Coach gave a dry grin of regret, immediately apologizing for not remembering. One way or another, when he grinned like that, it made me think that his enthusiasm for saving Sadako was a tiny bit smaller than mine. He lightly hit the brakes, making a skidding noise, and my whole body suddenly fell forward.
ひょっとして前原さんのお家ってあれですか？
That be your house there?
ああ、前原屋敷が前原さんのお家だったんですね。
Oh, right, my bar son would live at the my bar residence, wouldn't he? Before I knew it, we were almost to my house. Wow. Oh my god. Oh my god. We're gonna have to take a BRB real quick. Ugh. Ugh. Putting us on the lunch break screen. I do not need you maniacs to play. You good? As good as I can be. Epstein. What's a good video for this instance? I know what'll cheer me up.
With bugs,
That's an
the problem is
advert.
real. That's why you need Zevo traps. Zevo works 24/7
No, get
to
this
lure,
Zevo out of my
and
face.
99.9% of bugs trapped for effortless protection. Zevo, people friendly, bug deadly.
I don't give a shit.
Colorbag test, you can screen for colon cancer. For
I don't care.
How many goats is that?
Zero. Zero goats.
Oh, that's a good deal.
Put my video on.
All right, baby. Come on. Here we go now. My name is House. Knock on my door. I'ma cure you like you ain't never been cured before. My name is House. You may not like me, but you're gonna survive. Well, my name is House. We're gonna cure everyone in the world. I got my cane. I got my crew. I'm in the house. My name is House. All right, baby. Come on. Here we go now. My name is House. Knock on my door.
I was actually getting a bit teary-eyed for a moment there.
Cured before.
No, I gotta take a break. I need to refill my water because my throat is dry. Especially when I'm doing those raised voice moments with Keiichi screaming. Oh, and also I'm just... It's rough.
All right, baby. Come on. Here we go now. My name is House. Knock on my door.
Okay. I'm gonna go refill my water.
Bodacious.
I'll be back.
So how was your trip? Wow, sounds like you really had a smoking time. You know, I know that your life can be a bummer sometimes. And you have to deal with major dweebs at work. So I'm glad that you could get out and take a sweet vacay. It's nice to get away from all that bogusness sometimes. Thanks, I love you too. Well, hombre, you ready to get this show on the road? Slamming. Let's crank up some major tunage. Yeah. Yeah. Hoo-ah. Hoo-hoo-ha-ha. Roo-how-ha. Woo-wah. Yeah-yeah-yeah-yeah-yeah-ha. Yeah. Woo-hoo. Wa-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Cow-ya. No blood, blood, blood. Kriya. Whoa, 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 whoa. Grub. Yaha. Nah, yeah. Dusha. Oh, la, 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 la. Diashaz. Afa. Yahoo ho how. No. How ray. Jagegiga. Hey. No. Dilladia. Nga. Duraliu ho. Yes, ha how. I yay. Hoo hoo hey. Oh la 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 lay. Who run baby? Ha 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 ha. It's always a gym to keep it real too, my main monkey. Remember to drink plenty of fluids.
Where are we at with Funky?
Stay loose, bro.
Oh, that's it.
From eating raw
No!
to contaminated water at the White House.
I don't care right now.
In broad daylight. This is how every U.S. president died and their final word.
Shh, quiet. The mad scientist inside Auschwitz? Not right now. I'm good. Bye, Funky. I'm sure you comforted the people in this chat in the meantime. Well, we got 30 minutes left for the stream. In all honesty, I've got a bit of a headache. So I'm thinking I'll read the tip and then I might call it early. Because this stream was so intense and I have a headache, I think, from it. From straining myself reading. So I'm just sad. Oh, I didn't mean to click that. Case 31. December 1st, 1981. Blank Prefecture Juvenile Welfare Division report. Do not view, do not duplicate. Case 31, November 20th. Satoko Hojo, blank years old. Residence, blank Nimizawa Village, Shishibone. 1. Consultation circumstances. Anonymous telephone SOS of child abuse. 2. Abuse situation. Anonymous claims that a female child is suffering physical abuse by adoptive parents or guardians. 3. Family structure. Circle marks abusers. Adoptive father, adoptive mother, older brother, child in question. Note: in June 1980, the child's parents died in an accident. She was given to her uncle on her father's side, her father's younger brother. 4. Child Consultation Center's response. On the day of the anonymous telephone consultation, the center called the child's school and asked of her situation. The next day, the welfare officer on duty visited the child's home and heard what they had to say. Both adoptive parents agreed to the center's coaching. Contacted anti-abuse network in the city. Part of the suggested coaching, a district welfare officer in the area began visiting for coaching at fixed intervals. The scrawled note below is stapled to the report. Related information from former official Mr. W. Refer to 1977 document D23, number 44. Ask Chief Investigator F from the city's education consultation offices. He's well informed about it. Huh. Well, that's that. A good place to leave off as any, right, gang? Oh boy. Haha. Ooh. Hee hee. Ha. Hoo. I don't even know what music would be appropriate to play in the situation. You got any thoughts you want to share? Man, it just sucks. All we got today was child abuse, and more child abuse. Fuck, we gotta save that kid. There's just that defeat of feeling like you can do nothing. We gotta shoot her uncle. I think we have to shoot him. I think that's the only choice. Or like cave his head in. Keiichi, I'm afraid you're gonna have to like take a baseball bat and cave his head in. It's the only way. I do find it interesting to that like Sadako and Satoshi, their aunt, they were killed by some random person. It was like a drug addict, I think they said, I think. But it was with a baseball bat, right? And I don't know, maybe I'm not remembering all the information related to that, but I did have like that a theory that Satoshi did it because we know he's used a baseball bat before. That's not much of anything at all, right? But like we know he had one. Um, and it being the same type of weapon, like sort of raised eyebrows for me. But like I don't know how definitive the evidence is of that drug addict being the one who did it. It may have just simply been, a coincidence. But there is that part of me that wonders, did they just convict that random guy? And it was actually Satoshi that did it? I don't know. But that's simply a hypothesis. I have no evidence to go off of other than just, it was with a baseball bat. Satoshi uses that. So, I uh I feel terrible. You can really, what do you want for thumbnail? I don't even know. I think I just want like the CG of like the clouds when it's like sunset and orangey, just like the clouds. I need that. I can make it work with sprites I already have probably. I mean, just it sucks. It sucks. Oh my God. And I know this Tepe guy is not gonna go away after this stream. Maybe the most depressing and unfun stream we've ever done. No, this sucks. But, I mean, that's the reality of it, is it's a sad story. And there's kind of no getting around it. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, we gotta keep the mood up, guys. Let's crack some jokes while the game is being serious. I wasn't gonna do that. Uh, because I was gonna let the story do its thing. But, it's definitely very heavy. Um, and I know that that fucking uncle is not gonna go away after the stream. He will be back, I'm sure. Uh, we still got plenty of time in this chapter. Oyashiro-sama, take him on the night of the Watanagashi. Not Sadako, though. Please spare her. She deserves so much better. Ryukishi saw some shit and he made damn sure everyone would know how sucky this shit is. No, I mean, you can really see, you had said it. You can see the social worker background coming in. Of like, he kind of has the opposite perspective of like, you know, uh, in the story we're playing as Keiichi, and you sort of feel that frustration that the system can't do anything to help Sadako, or at least it doesn't feel that way. And like Ryukishi himself was a social worker, and so he probably had instances where he knew that something was wrong, but as things were, he couldn't do anything about it, and that probably is just so crushing. But it's guts taking in 1% of Sadako's pain. No, the game isn't like pulling any punches with the heaviness of this topic, and I think that's a good thing. It's heavy, it's rough, it's going to feel shitty to even like hear about, and I think that's just how it is. And I wouldn't want the game to sort of dance around it. Like it's pretty clear that Sadako is being abused. She's in abject misery in this house, and like it's not okay. And the game is like willing to like be more serious. You know, we weren't cut. Maybe we'll see, but like the overall tone, even like last stream, is it's been quite serious, and it hasn't been cutting to fun time, club time, yay, hanging out with Rena and or Mion. And like I think it's probably for the best it does that. Maybe we'll get some, slice of life fun time next time. I'm not sure. Comparing this to how Ultra Despair Girls did child abuse is a very funny comparison. Yeah. That game is trying something. I don't think it succeeds. It's not a malicious game, it's just poorly executed. Um, I mean, this game just handles it a lot better, I think. And I don't think I don't think that'd be a controversial thing to say. But it's gonna be tough getting through this chapter if this is like the continuous tone. And we haven't even gotten to the Watanagashi yet. Like, people haven't even started dying yet. We got a little Rena scare. But it sort of is portrayed just as if Rena has outbursts sometimes. And that seems to be kind of enforced of in the classroom when Keiichi was yelling at Mion about like, why aren't you doing anything? You could take her in. And then Rena turns it right back around me and starts yelling at me. And she has like the scary, angry sprite that normally is reserved for when she's demon mode. We see it, Again, that happened the last time she was talking about Oyoshiro, but that also felt a little demon mode because we were talking about the curse. But Rena can just seemingly get angry. So, like, it's not. I don't think it's definitive of, like, if Rena is getting angry, that means she's possessed by the evil, you know? But I'm still trying to piece together. Chapter 1 throws me for such a loop, you know? As to, like, what's going on there? I mean, just any time. I find it interesting how the Rena Eye thing happened in the stream, not out of malicious intent, but to show Keiichi how hurtful was being. Yeah. No, she did like the thing, but it was her getting angry and getting mad at Keiichi and kind of turning back how he was acting with Mion. It didn't really feel like a evil supernatural Oyoshiro moment, like when she starts going nuts in chapter 1, right? Interesting stuff, though. This shit stinks. We should ban Higurashi.